Hello everybody, this is Reggie Time and we're doing another episode of Tankroll to Bankroll. We're starting tonight at the 25 level. But before we do that, I'd just like to briefly do a little bit of self-promotion. I do apologise, I try not to do it very often, but I'm changing the way that I operate my coaching sideline. I'm just reading from this basically. I used to have a subscription method where people paid $25 for a month. They got one private lesson they had to use within the month, and then we did some group sessions. But the group sessions haven't worked out too well because people are scattered all over the world, and it's hard to get people in the same place at the same time to do the group sessions. So I'm going back to just offering single sessions, double sessions, triple sessions, that type of thing, at the rate of $25 for a single coaching session, $45 if you want to buy 2 sessions, and $60, that should be $50, I've done that wrong, $60 for 3 sessions. If you're already a winning player, then I'm not going to be the guy for you. If you're currently a losing player, recreational player, beginner, somebody returning to the game, looking to just touch your game up again, then I might be the guy for you. I used to have loads of pages of testimonials on the original Microgrinder website that was up and running for about 2 years until the guy who runs it decided to upgrade, and a lot of that was lost unfortunately, but there still can be some references found if you search for Reggie Time at Poker Market or Reggie Time at the new Microgrinder site. On my Facebook group, which you can join just by searching for Reggie Time Microstakes Poker Group in Facebook, you can find some pictures of my results. This is over long term. It's not going to come up now. Maybe we can show it on here, can we? Yeah, there's my results long term. If you want to pause, you can take a quick look at them. And it's also got like my most recent graphs and things on there. So yeah, if you are interested in maybe giving your game a little bit of a touch up, please do get in touch. Right, on with the video. We're now up to $325, which, going by the new requirements that we have, I can now play 25 hopefully until $600 that we get to, and we can move up to 50 or if we lose 3 buy-ins we have to move back down to 16. So now we're in a situation where hopefully we can just grind some 25 for a week or so, and maybe hopefully get up to the $600 limit, maybe not before the end of the month probably, but hopefully sooner rather than later. But if we do lose 3 stacks, we'll be having to move back down to the 16 games. I won't have very many hands on any of these 25 players, so this first session is kind of not going to be too great in terms of hopefully exploiting some weaknesses in some players, but nevertheless it's the first session at this limit, so let's get stuck in. As usual, I'm not going to be talking too much about like the really standard fold spots or the really standard opens. So there might be some dry spots in the commentary, but hopefully we won't miss anything that's interesting. I'm going to start by not flatting very much whilst I don't know much about the players in the blinds and what have you. I'm not going to be doing too much calling while we have no stats on people, because I just don't want to be like calling when there's like tons of aggro players in the blinds, etc. So I'll just 3-bet, try and knock the blinds out where possible. Can call or raise here on table 2. We'll go for a small raise with the intention of betting a bunch of rivers, but we didn't need to. This is going to be around a 40 to 45 minute video. Started it pretty late because I wanted to wait till my self exemption was up on the 25 limits, but I do want to watch a political programme in the UK at 2:30 because some by-election results are coming in that I've got quite an interest in. So I'm probably only going to be playing for the next 30 minutes or so. And I guess it's not going to be the longest video. Not that in love with my ace here with this bad kicker. For me to believe this bet sizing though, I need to believe his check back. A very strong hand, which he didn't do. I'm going to pause and go back and look at that in a moment so I can explain. I didn't do a particularly good job explaining my thought process there, so I'll go back and look at it in just a moment. Let the 8s go on table 1. That's a big barrel. That is a big barrel. Ukrainian players are typically on the tighter side. I called the flop, hoping that he may slow down. He hasn't slowed down. I think our hand's just too weak to continue with. Don't really want to call there and have to call the river. Bet this, looking to double barrel any card higher than an 8. You don't need to. Taking a long time to get to our blinds, isn't it? Right, here we go. So yeah, the ace-3. Again, because I don't want to be flatting too much at the moment until I know what's going on with people. Stats-wise, I elected to 3-bet the ace-3 suited pre-flop. And then we got a pretty horrible flop. Pretty much completely bricked it. He's called in position. His range is probably going to be, I would imagine, pocket pairs up to and including jacks, maybe pocket queens too. Some decent Broadway, suited Broadways, that type of thing. So I just give up at this point. He checks back though. We hit the ace on the turn. I think if we bet, we're kind of, yeah, we can get little bits of value from maybe some pocket pairs that check back, maybe anything like 6s through 10s, something like that. I don't think he's got a jack very often. I think he'll bet a jack on the flop. I think he'll maybe think about betting his flush draws on the flop. That type of thing. So when he checks back the flop, I don't think he's going to very much either. Maybe he has a hand like ace queen or ace king. So we call, and then he makes such a big bet, and it's quite a polarizing side. And if he'd bet smaller, if he'd bet like 450, I would have been a little bit more leery about calling. But when he bets this big, he's kind of saying he's got like a super strong hand. But what super strong hands does he really have? You'd think he would like bet all his sets on the flop. You'd think he would bet like ace jack, something like that. He wouldn't bet king jack this size. Is he really using like this sizing to bet ace queen and ace king on the river? Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. But I kind of thought this was an easier call if he made a smaller bet, and it doesn't look very much like we have an ace, does it? Given how we played the hand. So yeah, I went for the call, and he obviously did show up with the bluff. I mean, I think he's played the hand fine. It doesn't look like we've got really much. He's probably just trying to get me off like a weak made hand, like I don't know, pocket sixes, pocket eights, or like that. Who knows what we might be trying to get me off. Exactly the type of hand I've got, like a weak ace. I don't mind his line at all. I think I did just fine too. Have to call with the tens, I guess. It's just way too strong to just like 3-bet fold. He produces a really big sizing here. I'm not going to fuck around. We're just going to go with a jam. Tons of draws we can have, I guess. And he's just not going to fold an overpair. So let's just go. He has the aces. Hopefully we hold, and we do. Happy days. 25 hours go off to a good start. Insert coin. I'm sure that used to be a really good regular from years ago. Could be wrong. The map, I think, I remember a player with a similar name used to play on Triple Eight. He was really good. He used to table start 100 nil, and from memory he was a crusher. Clearly, might not be the same guy, but if it is, it's a testament to how much harder games are now than they were 4 years ago. Because I wouldn't have expected someone who was as good as him back then to be grinding 25 and L right now. Let the deuces go if this 6/3 guy c-bets. Don't think he has an ace now, so we're just going to bet twice. Hope he folds a better pair. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just always just like calls down with queens and stuff here because the pot's pretty small. But we'll go for it anyway. He had exactly queens. I'm interested to see just how much different these games are to the 16L games. My assumption is that they're going to be a lot tougher. I think there might be a marked difference between 16L and 25L. I could be wrong, but 16L is like lots of players believe that it's like quite a soft level because most regulars don't want to play that. They want to play 10 or 25. They're the traditional limits that people want to play. And much as I like the 16L limit personally, I think it's a nice step between the two. And lots of regulars just don't really recognise it. You can tell that by the pools. There's lots of people playing 10L, lots of people playing 25L, and not so many playing 16L. So I'm expecting it to be quite a jump up in class. But we'll see how it goes. I played quite a lot of 25L full ring zoom. Not very many hands lifetime of 25L 6 max zoom because it just seemed like a tough game to me a lot of the time, and I had better options. And I still believe I do have better options in terms of like where I can make the most money, but for the reason for this series, or for the ease of making the videos, it seems like a good place to at least take a look at. Now, we might end up after a week of maybe breaking even or whatever, we might think, you know what, this 25L zoom game, I think it's beatable, but don't think it's beatable by very much, so therefore maybe I might end up saying, right, we're going to take my $300 and something and we're going to take it to Sky or to Triple Eight or something. But I definitely want to give Zoom a fair crack of the whip, 25L Zoom a fair crack of the whip, because if I do end up beating this game for say 5 or 6 big blinds 100, then all of a sudden it becomes like a reasonable option for me in the longer term, which is one that I haven't really even contemplated for a very long time. Lose to King Jack, Jack 8 here, and now 8-7-2. So wouldn't have enjoyed being raised there. It would have certainly made for an interesting situation. Lots of straights did end up getting there on the turn, I think. Well, turn and the river. Like really bad for in terms of like all the straight draws, but I think I probably would have called, but who knows? Maybe a fold would have been better. Fortunately, we weren't put in that situation, so it's not a major problem. For those of you who aren't familiar with my videos, it's very rare. We folded pocket fours under the gun there. It's very rare you'll catch me raising deuces through fives under the gun. It's usually in my folding range, those hands. I am tighter than the average bear from the first position. think we'll probably beat here by gooey glue on this board. I think the flop check's fine. Of course, we could c-bet, but I don't expect recreational players and like people who aren't playing full stacks to be folding any pairs. The call on the turn's obviously pretty damn standard. And now I think it's just going to be a fold on the river. Not much going on so far, is there? I'm being reasonably active, 25, 23 with a bit of a 3-bet stack going on. It's been quiet, which is why I've been quiet, really. To apologise for that, but what can we do? If there's not much happening to talk about, there's not much happening to talk about. Is that all in? Guess we'll just fold. It's been a pretty poor run out for our hand. If he checks, we're just going to check back. If he bets, we're going to fold. And that's why. It is a complete joy to play on Pokerstars software. We do have to credit them for that. I've been very critical of Pokerstars pretty much ever since I started making videos, but the software is a complete joy. Let's see what he's done with his name there. The cleverer ones I've seen. Knit here. Unknown in the blinds. Potential fish opening. Let's try and make a set. Oh, we did as well. Sadly, it looks like our opponent hasn't got anything, but we'll bet anyway and hope. Another set. We are running good tonight with the sets. multi-way pot with a flush draw and an ace out there. I'm just going to go slightly bigger with my sizing. Just hoping. I mean, I don't expect anyone to fold an ace there ever or a flush draw. So if anyone's got either of those, they're going to call. If they don't have either of those, then they're probably going to fold no matter what size I make it. So I don't think sizing is going to have a huge influence on people's ranges there. So therefore, I may as well go bigger for the times that they have got something that they can stick around with. So that's two sets we've ran good by hitting, but we haven't ran good by having our opponents have something they can give action with. Not a huge fan of set mine into 3-bets, but we are in position, so I guess we can take a flop. I have no idea what we're going to beat here. Seems to be way more nits playing Zoom this time around than last time I played it. Last time I played it, I seem to recall there being like a ton of like decent, like semi-loose aggressive opponents. Some of those guys are still around, but there seems to be a heck of a lot more people that just have like super tight ranges. Although obviously my sample size isn't the highest. I'm not going to 3-bet the ace-5 suited this time, because at the moment our opponent here looks pretty tight, and also we have somebody who's tagged green in the blinds. I was about to 3-bet with my 9-10 suited, but now we'll just not bother. Fold here if we get raised on the river. Don't see him check raising a weaker flush. For sure. Pocket kings, yeah, makes sense. Don't think he's done too much wrong there, just unlucky for him. In fact, when I said I don't think he's done too much wrong, I don't think he's done anything wrong. It's just didn't work out for him, did it? And it did work out for us, which is pleasing. It's always nice to run good when you're like taking a shot and you know you're on a bit of like you haven't got too many bullets in your gun. It's always nice to get off like to a good start. It's really hard to make a move at work if you don't run good at the start of it. And that's a very, very obvious thing to say, but it's also very true. And that is possibly one of the worst turns I could have asked for. We're going to check back here and we're going to hope to pair the board. To bluff or not to bluff? don't think I will. I don't think if I bet like $4, he's going to fold. Obviously, just try to bluff off a chop there, but I wouldn't ever check back a queen there on the turn. So then, all of a sudden, just going for it on the river, it's anyone worth the salt isn't good. He's going to see right through that and just pick it off. And he may have a queen himself that just doesn't want to value bet the river because the backdoor flush has come. Seems unlikely, but there are guys out there that wouldn't bet a queen on the river because they wouldn't want to face a raise. I know that because I speak to many of them on a regular basis who really aren't good at value betting anything that isn't the nuts. So we're probably going to go for around another 10 minutes, I think, because apparently the by-election results are due in around 2:30 AM. I'm hoping for a Labour hold in both for the UK guys who are watching, but I suspect that we're going to lose Copeland and probably hold Stoke, mostly because Paul Nuttall completely fucked up his campaign. I think we could have potentially lost both if UKIP could have got the house in order in Stoke, but they didn't, thankfully. We flopped yet another set, which is delightful. C-bet could be slightly on the big side, but hopefully now he's going to have an ace, or an ace-king would be even nicer. If he's got the queen 10 good shot, then hallelujah, he's going to win all my money. This river. I think we could have the best hand a decent amount of the time. You can definitely play hands like king, queen, ace, king, ace, queen, ace, 10. Lots of just random stabs on the flop with just 2 random high cards. Yeah, ace, queen. I think I may well have called the river if he'd made a bet. And if we're getting owned by pocket nines or something like that, then tough to be us. For what it's worth, I think he should just have checked back his ace queen there. He doesn't need to bet, but he did. Just bets and give. The problem is when you do bet ace queen there, you end up just giving up way too often on turns. And I don't like betting things on flops that I'm kind of going to be one and done with. Don't think that's a good approach. Call here with the ace 4 just because we have a short stack player in the small blind who's probably not going to be squeezing too often. So I'm going to treat my small blind like I'm in the big blind virtually. If there's a more aggressive play in the big blind, I probably would have 3-bet. Don't think he has a flush very often here because surely he bets before now. So he's either bluffing or he's going for something value. So we're going to try and make him fold something. And if he turns up with a flush, then good for him. But I mean, he just doesn't have a flush very often. He doesn't have a queen very often because surely he bets the flop on the turn. He doesn't have a flush very often because surely he bets the flop on the turn. So therefore he's either got a bluff or thin value most of the time. But what I don't want to do there is have him bluffing with a better hand and me pay that off. I think it's a better option to raise there and have him fold most of it than call and then lose to, like, I don't know, ace 9 or something like that, or whatever there was on the flop that wasn't a pair. Just better aces that weren't a pair. Or some weird, like, small pocket pair he's finally decided to just bet with for no particular reason. Because the big blind looks weak tight and Dinito doesn't have a full stack, again I'm just going to call here because I don't think we're like super likely to get squeezed. The only reason for like, well, there's lots of reasons for 3-betting it. I had like 8-7 suited, but versus under the gun, the only time I would really want to 3-bet it is if I thought I was going to get squeezed too often. Otherwise, I'd rather just take a flop in position if I think I'm going to be allowed to. So sometimes I would 3-bet this, sometimes I wouldn't. I would definitely, if it was like cut-off, I would have 3-bet the versus the cut-off, irrespective of who's in the blinds usually, but versus under the gun. Nope, and now we're just going to turn our hand into a bluff because it's checked through twice. So I don't think anybody has an ace, but we could still be behind to lots of other stuff. King X, pocket queens, pocket jacks, pocket tens, etc. Better eights, pocket nines, so all those hands. I'd rather just try and make those hands fold and just try and get to showdown. I knew more about these opponents I could consider squeezing with the 9-6 suited, but we won't on this occasion. Yep, so apologies for the shorter video, but we are now going to sit out on our next big blinds. This is only meant to be, I mean, my video is only meant to be like around 45 minutes going forward anyway, so we're not shortchanging people by too much. But, yeah, I do want to have the TV on very, very soon, so I'll be stopping playing for the day. It's been a really low volume day because I've been waiting to play a 25-0, but we'll get back on the horse tomorrow, hopefully, and get some decent volume in. Wow. I really want to call this. We just don't need to, though. We don't need to call like a 4x over bet. With like just, yeah, fair enough, we've got a full house, but it's not a very good full house. If his bluff is there, good for him. So often I make those calls thinking that this guy doesn't rep anything here, etc, etc, and then he just turns up with the nuts or whatever, and he's just completely misplayed it. The guy's not playing many hands, is he? Albeit small sample. He's giving up with the sixes. That's why I don't open 2s, 3s and 4s very often, and 5s. For the same reason, I just feel like they're just not very playable post flop, particularly from out of position. 7-5 suited, potentially active big blind, but again under the gun. But he's just min raised under the gun, and I generally have a rule that people who min raise under the gun, I'm not fond of their chance of being a good player. There's more likely someone who's min raising under the gun is going to be a bad player than a good one. So therefore, I'm going to 3-bet to try and isolate. If we get 4-bet, then so be it. I don't see many good players min-raising under the gun at micro stakes, and for a very good reason. So yeah, we're going to leave it there with a 40-minute video. We made $52. That's pretty sweet. So that's been a good last two videos. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're making another video for the next couple of days or not. The weekend's coming now. I may or I may not make some videos, but Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Any questions, any comments, or if you want to sign up to my coaching sessions, please get in touch. Bye bye for now.